This is a quick note to recommend a resource to the listeners of this podcast. I realize that there are some listeners of this podcast which may have preferred that I not talk about Palestine or Gaza or modern Israel or anything like that, possibly because it's beyond the scope of a Bible study, but also maybe because of some preconceptions about Palestinians and perhaps also the sense that modern Israel is a haven for Jews, and that to criticize Israel is to criticize Jews and is, therefore, anti-Semitic. To answer those objections, I refer you to the June 7, 2021 special episode, Ancient Palestine, Modern Israel, Matthew, Jesus, the Pharisees, and Us. Yes, it's a long title. But I recommend that you go back and listen to that, and also the more recent December 1st, 2023 episode, Living Humanly Under Occupation. I hope both of these episodes explain why I take the position that I do and why talking about modern Israel and the land of Palestine is important, even if a little bit of a detour from actual Bible study. And I welcome any questions or comments. You can send them to subversivewisdom@gmail.com. I also want to encourage listeners to watch a documentary that is free on YouTube called Gaza Fights for Freedom. I'll link to it in the show notes, but you can just search for it on YouTube. Gaza Fights for Freedom. It plays without commercial interruption, and again, it's free. It's amazingly well done. I found myself riveted, and that's saying a lot because I don't usually like documentaries. But this one is outstanding. It tells some of the history, not just of Palestine, but specifically of Gaza, and then centers on the 21 months of nonviolent protest at the border by the people of Gaza in 2018-2019, something that I found that many people in the United States are unaware of. The documentary was done in 2019 and seems to have been completed before the border protests ended. I remember when those demonstrations were happening at the border, and it seemed like most of us here in the U.S. were too overwhelmed with our domestic situation to pay much attention. But I was paying some attention to it, and it was quite amazing. Unfortunately, it did not change anything. Israeli forces shot many of the protesters, killing 223 of them, including some medics and journalists, and wounding and disabling thousands more. I was talking about this just recently with our pastor, who reminded me of the famous quote from John F. Kennedy, "Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable." I had thought that was from Martin Luther King, but the internet is telling me it was John F. Kennedy. Of course, if you listen to my most recent special episode from December 1st, you will know that the Gaza border protest in 2018-2019 was by no means the first nonviolent attempt by Palestinians to throw off the occupation. Despite the virtual blackout on reporting on it by U.S.-based news media, nonviolent resistance by Palestinians has been continuous for decades. They seem to be following the teaching of Jesus more closely than most Christians in the United States. When I was there over 20 years ago, the mayor of Yatta, a Muslim man, told me that Jesus was their prophet of peace and love. Anyway, I encourage you to watch this free documentary on YouTube, Gaza Fights for Freedom. It is outstanding. It may be hard for some people to watch, but I think most people can handle it. And it is just amazingly well done. So with that, thanks for listening. Peace to you and your households. My name is Bert Newton, and this is a quick special episode of Bible Study, Parody and Subversion in Matthew's Gospel.